Episode number 360.
If the universe wasn't talking to me or I just wasn't listening loud enough, I don't know. So I was like, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. And I promised myself 1 year, 12 adventures. Every month I would go on a different adventure.
Nice.
And it changed my life.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is always fired up, ready to bring you some fuego in your days, night, weekends, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But after this show, I think you're going to think about life a little bit different, and the fact that maybe chocolate made you do it, and basically talking about someone that has inspiring others not only in her own life but now through a book called Wanderlust. Miss Devon Werner. Devon, are you ready to be real?
I'm so ready to be real, Travis. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Just so you guys know a little bit more about Devon, she is an author, a world traveler, which I love traveling, man. I miss traveling so much. A physical therapist and a lover of all things chocolate. And she's she's a native folks of the Rutgers area, but now she's living out in North Carolina, like we were talking about. She's a huge fan of the Blue Devils. But talk to me a little bit about your journey. Obviously, with the love of chocolate, we kind of can all relate to that. But take me into your journey of obviously this wanderlust, if you want to call it, for life, and take us and talk about your story.
Yeah. So yes, big fan of chocolate. And this story is a little bit about chocolate changing your life. So I grew up in an area right outside of Philadelphia in South Jersey. Lived there my entire life. Went to school system there, and when I was in high school there, really had this strong urge. I wanted to travel the world, and that's what I was going to do with my life. I wanted to see places, go places, and just really leave my mark on the world.
Right.
Kind of got through doing life a little bit, went to college, was an athlete in college, played sports, really kind of dug into that. And I don't know if you know much about kind of the sports scene, but it takes up a lot of your free time. So
absolutely. Trainings, practices, after therapy. If you do it right, you got to spend a lot of time, like LeBron James and some of these greatest athletes in the post therapy and the physical therapy, whether that's getting a massage or ice baths and all these different things. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it really took away my ability to spend some free time traveling. Usually
Gotcha.
All of my traveling was related to kind of where my next sporting contest was or the next tournament. So that took me all the way up through college. And I loved being an athlete. It was an identity for me and who I was. So, I just enjoyed it. And then kind of got injured in the process. And that was really devastating, kind of changed my identity in that sense. So then I joined the working world and kind of spent some time working in corporate America. Really didn't like it. Went back to school and decided to become a physical therapist because, I wanted to work with athletes. That was the thing, Travis. I wanted to, if I couldn't be an athlete, I was going to work with them.
Help them get better. Help them get, back on the field, back on the court.
Yes. But in the midst of all that, life kind of got to me. Didn't do much traveling. Was going through PT school, came out of it with some different experiences. So I started the week before I started PT school, I lost my mom to breast cancer. Yeah. So that kind of changed my direction a little bit. And then while I was in PT school, I lost my brother-in-law, who was like one of my best friends.
Oh, wow.
That changed my route. Sports was not my thing at that point. I wanted to go on and do something bigger and better. So I got working in the hospital system and started being a therapist in the hospital system.
Got you.
Yeah. So then I moved to North Carolina and got a job working in an intensive care unit down here in North Carolina. And, when I turn around and look back, so much life had passed me by and all my travels were gone. And
right.
I didn't really know where I was or what I was doing. So it all led up to kind of this I'd like to say midlife crisis, and maybe a little earlier than midlife crisis.
Right.
I was working in the intensive care unit one day. I had probably 4 patients my age or younger come in, massive strokes, like
wow.
in really bad shape. And
Oh my God.
yeah, it was devastating, right? Because you see your own mortality in that moment. And I came home from that weekend. It also happened to be the same week that was the anniversary of my mom's death. And so I was just not in a good place. And I was going through, I actually sat down to kind of rewrite my will that day. So I went through my safety deposit box. And in the process of doing that, I came across my passport. And it had expired the year before. And Travis, there was not a single stamp in it. Nothing. So at that point, I had the emotions of coming out of a tough day at work, dealing with all the stress and reminders of my past. And I'm sitting here looking at this book wondering, where has the time gone and what have I done with my life? Like if I was laying in that hospital bed, would I be happy with what I've done and what I haven't done? And I really started to think about why haven't I done the things that I always set out to do? And it was just a laundry list of excuses that at the end of the day just didn't add up. And so that sparked the wanderlust. I was like, all right, you know what? No more excuses. I'm going to do this. I'm going to travel and see the world. And, so I sat down at a computer and I started looking to like book some trips and like make this happen. And of course, as you know, when you sit down and you start giving yourself a little bit of time to think about things,
right,
you start to talk yourself out of it.
Yep.
I was sitting there and I'm beginning to talk myself out of this new, epiphany that I'd come to. And I reached over, I was eating a little thing of, I don't know if you ever had the Dove chocolates with like those inspirational messages on them.
Oh, there you go. Yes, I've seen them. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I picked up one of those and, I was ready to close my computer. I unwrapped the chocolate and I put it in my mouth and I looked at the paper and Travis, it said, book the flight.
Wow.
And so
it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. So I hit the button and I was at that point, if the universe wasn't talking to me or I just wasn't listening loud enough, I don't know. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big. And I promised myself 1 year, 12 adventures. Every month I would go on a different adventure.
Nice.
And it changed my life. I started saying yes to things I would have said no to. And it kind of took me all over the world, brought me back. And I was a different person after that experience.
Wow.
I learned a lot more about the importance of being in the moment and kind of how that would carry through. So that's kind of how it all started.
Isn't that crazy? It's also one of those things, like you said, being in the moment, because a lot of times you could just open that chocolate and have thrown it away and not seen that, and it might not have changed your life. So folks, just remember the things that are around you, the signs, the things the universe is telling you that don't ignore those things. It's very important. So then take me into your inspiration then for writing a physical book, a book called Wanderlust. The chocolate made me do it. If something as simple as a piece of chocolate could change your life, would you let it?
Yes. So the book kind of came about when I started traveling. I always knew I was going to kind of chronicle my journeys just so I had something to kind of remember it by, to be able to look back and look at all the different things I got to do.
Right.
So I kind of kept a little bit of a blog along the way. And, I got through that year. And after, you kind of get those romanticized type feelings, you come out of it and you're on top of the world. And so that was me. I was living the dream and I've had a new sense of self and opened myself up to being in a relationship, and life was good and things were going well. And then I'm not sure if you heard this, but then a pandemic hit.
Yes.
And so I couldn't travel anymore. The relationship was kind of going in a different way. And I found myself right back into that pit of like, just not recognizing myself and not feeling like I had a purpose again, and just just really stuck in a rut.
Right.
And so at that point, I kind of went through this process of how do you deal with those emotions? And for me, writing had always been an outlet. It was always a way for me to kind of process what I was going through. So I started writing, and in the process of writing and reflecting on my year of travels and everything, I started to see these recurrent themes that the more that they came into view, the more I started to realize that they were also in the world right around me. Like I didn't need to go to some exotic location or jump off a cliff or do something insane to be able to find those lessons that were really just always with me. And it was those lessons that helped me get out of that funk and get through some of those really hard moments of being in the hospital in a pandemic and going through a relationship. And the book just, it helped me come out on the other side, realizing that I was in a good place and that I actually had a lot to be grateful for. And it helped kind of drive where I was at. So for me, the inspiration to write the book actually became wanting to share that with everyone else. I think it's really important when we're going through challenging times in our lives, like we look for others that have gone through similar circumstances and survived it and come out on the other side doing okay. And so for me, some of those lowest of low moments, I turn to the works of other authors, and people that had lived that experience. When my mom died, I became a huge fan of Cheryl Strayed because, wild and hearing her tell her story and be okay.
Right.
So the book for me was just a way for me to be able to put my story out there and show others that like you can go through all these difficult times and you don't need some crazy exotic adventure. These moments are right here with us, and we're surrounded by, if we just listen to what the universe is telling us, like we're going to be okay.
Right. They say like there's like probably 50 things you could do like are right around you within maybe like 50 or 20 miles of you that you haven't done before, and that obviously the crazy year of 2020 kind of taught us that you can get on the road and be around you, you can't travel as far, you can't hop on a plane because you can't go to certain places, but there's so many things, whether that's in your own life, or whether that's, like I said, just in your own area that exists that you just have to kind of explore and say, oh, I'm going to try this, I'm going to go do something I've never done before, because it's right around the corner from you, and I think that's the other blessing we're starting to realize too, is that a lot of this stuff is right around the corner from us. Might pick up a couple fun things to do just by going out and exploring. And not everything you're going to love. Let's just be real. Not every place you go and travel you love. But at least you experienced it, and then you can pick your favorites. Pick your favorites. So then also the best place for people to support you is in on the IndieGoGo, which is one of my favorite new ways of supporting, whether it's a business or whether you're supporting a cause, entrepreneurship. And it looks like you're getting close to your goal here. It looks like we're getting very close to our goals with 16 days left. So we need some support. We need to push this out and get you all those backers. So we'll put that in the show notes. So make it easy on y'all in the show notes. But now, my friend, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Apple or Android?
Oh, Apple.
Apple, Netflix or YouTube?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Depends on the mood, right? It's like,
yeah, it depends on the mood, and it depends on how much of my weekend I want to give up.
There you go. So that's Netflix if you want to give it all. I can just binge down it. Instagram or Facebook if you're thinking about social networks?
So for me, it's got to be Facebook because I've got to connect with my family.
I love that. Stay with the family, keep connected. And if you're thinking about a good meal, chicken steak or an alternative like a vegetable, things like that.
Ooh, I'm a steak and potatoes kid.
There we go. Steak and potatoes. That sounds great. And laptop or a smartphone? Which one do you prefer?
Oh, probably my smartphone. I can take it anywhere with me.
Mobile. I like that. Yeah. Take it mobile. And if you're thinking about content, music, things like that, Spotify or Pandora?
Pandora,
the OG, and if you're thinking about kind of entertaining yourself, having some fun, movies or video games?
Oh, so classic Nintendo. Like,
nice.
I have the Nintendo NES in my house.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
With the duck hunt and all those fun games.
Yes.
Man, so I'm in the collectible business, and had we had known how valuable those things would be sealed, you'd want to buy it. You'd want to have 2 of everything. Mom, please let me get 2 of that. I'm going to use one, keep the other one sealed. There's a whole business around, guys. Wada Gaming, which is now owned by PSA, which is the number 1 grading company in the world. Literally, you can, like, some of these games are hundreds of thousands of dollars in mint condition, because obviously no one thought of that. And the rarity is unbelievable. And people care about it, because it's kind of nostalgic to your childhood. So the old NES, I like that. The old NES. And then reading books or listening to books if you're thinking about content absorption.
Yeah, so I'm a reading books person.
There you go.
I've got to have the paper in my hand. I can't do the Kindle or anything.
Got you. Reading books. So get the physical. And if you're thinking about diversifying the portfolio, stocks or real estate, do you prefer?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Yes.
Let's get something physical. You can live in it. I like it. And for a vacation, because we all deserve a dang vacation. And I know you, the wanted list, wants to go on another vacation abroad or somewhere. Which one would you choose, an ocean or a lake?
Ocean.
Ocean. What ocean would you want to go to if you hop on a plane today? You're out of here.
Oh, man. Take me to New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Out there. Yeah. Right. With
like all these, it's because everything's locked down out there crazy, but like the Google guy has like his son coming through out there. I don't know if you guys are familiar. A lot of the very, very wealthy people in America escaped to New Zealand. And they also have a policy. Obviously, you can't be bringing people in. But if you're a trillion billionaire, the Google guy, he somehow got his son through with medical issues. You know how those things work, folks. When you got a little extra money, you can make things happen. But New Zealand, from what I hear, is the most beautiful place in the world. One of the most beautiful places in the world. So when you were waking up in the morning, Devon, for the day, getting ready, why do you love being you?
Man, because I'm just living the dream, right? Like, life is good. I wake up in the morning and I get to do what I love. I got a breath in me, and I'm just grateful. So it's easy to get up in the morning.
I love that. And just so you guys know, my business, one of my businesses, is called Dreams Sports Cars, and it's living the dream. So that's synchronicity right there, folks. We literally say we're living the dream every day, because not only for our customers, but I always wanted to have a sports card shop when I was a kid, and now we do. It's really cool. And tell me this, do you think you'll ever retire from the game of entrepreneurship, writing books, teaching, exploring the world?
So no, man, I can't do stagnant, right? Like, I've got to keep going. I got to be doing something. So yeah, I mean, I just love, keep going. So that's what I'll be doing. And
eating chocolate along the way is my style too.
Yeah, I mean,
so what's your favorite chocolate brand? That's what we got to know. We got to know what's your favorite all-time chocolate brand.
Oh man, that's tough.
If you had to choose one.
So I would probably have to go with Vogel's chocolate.
Oh, sounds like a higher end chocolate. Nice chocolate.
Yeah, it's good stuff. If you buy my book, you can kind of partner it up with a chocolate.
I saw that. That was a cool co-op. You guys give a certain level of support. You get some chocolate with it. So that's very nice. I like that. It's a very interesting way of marketing the book, promoting the book, and making it an experience, because it is, like you said, you literally had your life change from that moment. And it's a fun way of kind of embracing that same thing for the readers, for the people that are backing you. Is there a skill right now you're trying to master? Is there something you're trying to get better at? Is there something you're trying to perfect or just work at?
Oh, man. My skill is just trying to perfect living life, right? Like, nothing in particular. Maybe cooking a little bit.
Nice. Okay.
Not so great with that. I can do the HelloFresh, and that's kind of
that's fun. Yeah, me and my wife decided to try to do that. HelloFresh. Try it out. Add some variety, keep it simple, and she's trying to make my life a little easier. So shout out to the wife for making the hubby's life a little easier with the HelloFresh. And is there a favorite app or a tool that you either just gravitate to or you just love using on a daily or weekly basis?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of really a big fan of Quip.
Oh, okay.
That's because that's where I'm doing a lot of my publishing work and things like that. And then Canva is kind of the new go-to. Gotta love Canva when you're trying to get, some cool images out there.
Absolutely. Artwork, and literally helps you guys, quickly create like we do with our podcast, the profile images of the show and things like that quickly and easily, and don't have to get into too details, and anyone can do it. It's a great platform, Canva. And then tell us a little bit about Quip. I am not completely familiar with that one. Tell us a little bit more about that one.
So Quip is kind of like the author's edition of like all things Office Suite. So
got you.
Like a spreadsheet platform. It's got like a chat and a document system. And so you can it's like its own community where you can communicate with everybody on the platform, house all your documents, share your content.
Is it mostly authors? Is it mostly authors on the platform primarily?
So that's a great question for me. Yes, but I think that's because I'm using it with my authors program.
Got you.
What other areas it's used for, but it's been great. I mean, I can put content out there, get it to my editors. They get access to it immediately. It really lends itself to generating a community with some of the other authors in the writing program. And so
supporting each other and kind of helping each other get better. That's what it's all about. If you could sit down and to a steak and potatoes dinner, obviously, because we like that, with anyone in the world, who do you want to sit down with for dinner tonight?
If I could sit down with anyone in the world, I would probably want to sit down and chat with Elizabeth Gilbert.
Oh, tell us about Elizabeth Gilbert.
Yeah, I mean, so she, author of Eat, Pray, Love, and then, hit the main screen with it. But so she's got a really unique story. One of the things that's interesting with her is, right, like everybody knows the Eat, Pray, Love story, and they know kind of the happy ending with her romance and everything. But a lot of people don't know kind of what came next for her. And so she actually left that relationship, fell in love with a woman, had an incredible relationship with someone after she had already thought that everything was figured out. And so for me, I would just love to be able to hear her perspective on like what the happy ending was after the happy ending.
Right.
You read all these fairy tales and it's like you ride off into the sunset, and when you're a kid and you're growing up with that mindset of like, that's what the perfect life looks like, and that's the perfect happy ending, you often forget that no, that doesn't have to be. That's just the ending to that chapter. Right. And then there can be a whole nother chapter after that can be just as wonderful and extraordinary. And so I would love to sit and just pick her brain about all of that process.
I love that. Because we are evolving. Every 7 years, they say we're physically evolving. Taste change, preferences change. There's things we're going to always like, but then things about us change. And we, hopefully, I always say, look to get better, look to learn and push ourselves, because things are always getting more futuristic, more advanced. And, certain parts of it, hey, you got to keep your phone away. It's addicting, but certain parts of it, you got to know how to use the damn phone, so it's kind of like that blend. And there's a piece to obviously just being who you want to be, don't feel forced to learn something if you don't want to learn it. But I love your story. I love that literally you took a piece of chocolate, and not only obviously the chocolate, but that's just the epiphany of the moments to change your life mindset. And literally you're looking at a different person than you would be prior to that. So I appreciate all your hard work and effort. Also, where is your favorite place on social to hang out as well? Just so we can send more people there. We're going to send them to the IndieGoGo, but any other places for them to follow you?
Yeah, so I've got my Instagram is Highwraith and Wanderlust.
Got you.
So that's also linked to my IndieGoGo page there, and same thing on Facebook, Highwraith and Wanderlust.
Gotcha.
Which I don't know if you're familiar with what that phrase means.
No.
But Highwraith is the term it's a Gaelic term for homesick for a place that no longer exists.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, I read that it was written on a bar at a wine bar I went to. And I was like, that's an interesting word. Let me look that up.
Right.
And just, that kind of just resonated with me. So homesick for a place that no longer exists.
Wow.
And then wanderlust, this like love of wanting to wander and travel. And so,
that's awesome.
that's kind of been my mantra, my home.
Motto
and
right now
for all of my social media.
Well, I appreciate and love the energy that you brought to this show today. I love your story. I truly think we're going to get you to your goal here. But beyond that, I know that you even have bigger and bigger dreams. I tell every single guest, the world is full of abundance. Let's just be real. And you deserve it. Your soul and energy provides that for the people that are gravitated to you and your message. And I think we can just get more and more people to you continually over time. I'm looking forward to seeing your adventures and your exploration as I follow you on Instagram. But folks, you've been hanging out with Miss Devon Werner and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real.
What another epic episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. We're all going through a lot right now. And real-time outsource, my business, is giving back to local and small businesses. Through our social media services and campaigns, we are actually helping small businesses get more exposure during these times, and also when we get through these times. At the end of the day, we don't know how long this is all going to last, but most importantly, you got to think about your business right now. Take it seriously. So come check us out at realtimeoutsource.com, and we would love for you to qualify and get the process started where we can take a look at your business and see if we can qualify you for some of our services. At little to no cost for most of the businesses, and some businesses, you're going to have to pay, but that's just part of life, right? But most importantly is that I think this is the time, folks, that you can actually help thrive in your business. And so I would love to help you personally with our team. We're all going through a tough time right now. So take advantage of us. realtimeoutsource.com. Check us out. And we would love to do some business with you and help you with your social and digital media in 2020 and beyond.